Hello YouTube, Dave here again. Welcome back to another Pathfinder 2nd Edition related video. And today I'm going to be taking a look at the Monster Core 2. So this is one of the latest releases from Paizo, and speaking of Paizo, they did send this book to me for the purposes of doing a review on it, so I do want to thank them for that. However, as is always the case, they're not scripting or pre-screening the video, and the opinions that I express are 100% completely and totally my own. And look, I'm going to be honest, monster books are always handy to have at the table for, like, different challenges or new things to throw up against your players. And the Monster Core 1 is your pretty foundational creatures. So this one gives you a bit more of an expansion to throw some other things at your groups here. So we're going to flip through. I'm not going to flip through every single page of the book, but we'll take a look and see what some of the creatures are. The main things that I want to focus on are some of my favorite things to look at in these books are going to be the daemons, the demons, the devils, and the dragons, which are all in the D section. But we'll sort of go through here and take a look. So this is cost retails for $69.99. I know, like a lot of the Paizo prices have unfortunately had to go up because of the economic situation that's going on. They did make a release about that like months and months ago, but we have here over 300 monsters, and this is almost 400 pages of books. So, and it's all monster stats, right? So again, it's something that is going to be useful at your table. So, like, I love the monster books. When I first started collecting Pathfinder First Edition, my initial goal was just to have like the core rulebook and the 6 bestiaries that they released, which I have, but then I kind of went a little bit beyond that. And again, I'll be looking forward to the Pocket Edition of this coming out, because I'll be using it a lot more often when it takes up less room at my table. But this is a really cool looking cover here. You've got some raptors. I'm not entirely sure what these things are supposed to be, but this guy looks like he is a campaign-ending villain, because they do have those in these games as well, like creatures that are beyond level 20. And I said this in the Starfinder Alien Core video, but with Pathfinder 2nd Edition, if a creature says it's a certain level, they absolutely mean it. And to fight a creature that's 1 or 2 levels above you is actually noticeable in terms of like the challenge. So I really love the fact that they made creature levels actually work. Like, instead of something where like you could have players face something 4 to 5 levels above them and still do relatively well with, like, maybe somebody gets knocked down once or twice in combat, but still at the end of the day they're able to pretty easily prevail. So let's see what we got here. Again, we got this stuff that'll appear in all of the monster books. So you got ways of adjusting them, how to roleplay creatures, so elite adjustments and weak adjustments. And then we get into our creatures here. So Adamantine Sentinel, the Aeons. That thing looks really cool. Again, that would fit in a Starfinder creature game. So again, I don't want to go through every single... what are these, awakened creatures? Oh, creatures from the Plane of Nirvana. Okay. Draconel creature level 20. Holy. And then these would be like the... they were aboleths in First Edition. But the Algolthu... Attic Whisper, that's creepy. I love it. Azada... The Beheaded, Flame Skull, and the Severed Head. Blood Painter. That is gnarly. Creature level 9. Okay, that might be something to throw at my players at some point. Just give it the elite adjustment. Maybe have a few of them. Brownies looks kind of just like creepy. The Caligny. Camels. Clockwork creature. There's Clockwork Dragon. So the Pathfinder First or the Starfinder First Edition beginner box had a robotic dragon, so this is pretty similar. And here's the daemons. So again, I've actually used quite a few of these in my campaign so far. Pollution Daemon. Okay, that's one that's going to get some use there. The Death Demon or Daemon. Yeah, that's going to get... Those will probably get some use in my campaign as well. We got Deep Ones. I love that. I mean, they've used Lovecraftian creatures before. There's the Worm Demon, and I'm not gonna lie. Like seeing this, it reminds me of the Rick and Morty episode with the Morty's Mind Blowers, where like the worm has taken over Morty, but the way to expel it was to say nice things about him, and the family like it was such a slow process that they kind of ran out of stuff to say. And they just started insulting the demon for taking a while, or the worm, so it started like slinking back in. Anyway, that's what I think of when I see that scene. Like I'll forever see that. Some interesting demon types in here. Not even going to try to pronounce some of these things, but the Denizen of Leng. We got some devils here. The Hellbound Attorney. I love that. The idea that lawyers are creatures from the Nine Hells. The Rust Devil. So that'd be this guy here. The Heresy Devil. And the Apostate Devil. Level 17. So again, there's some cool stuff in here. There we got our Spinosaurus. We got some dinosaurs. The Agash. Divine Warden. Oh, this looks like a template that you can put on top of things. Okay. Alright, so here we got some more dragons. So, we've got the Young Cinder Dragon. So that would be this guy here. So that's the Cinder Dragon. That's the Coral Dragon. It's actually like the corals incorporated into its body. The Adult Despair Dragon. Oh my god, that is... I don't even know what to think of that. That is just something. The Phase Dragon. Kind of looks almost like the Mercury Dragon from like 3rd edition. There's the Requiem Dragon there. The Resurrection Dragon. What is a Resurrection Dragon? Hold on. Let's take a look at that. Resurrection Dragons teeter between life and death. They have mastery of vital energies, allowing them to restore life to the dead, and mastery of void energies. Oh, that is interesting. Siphon Life Reawaken. Living creature, the Resurrection Dragon can see dies as the reaction trigger. Uses divine energy and vital energy to retether the soul to its dead body. The willing creature is returned to life with the dying one condition at the start of its next turn. A dragon or creature can only be resurrected by this ability only once. Okay. And then the Rune Dragon. Whisper Dragon. Ugh. That looks like lanky and kind of unnerving. I love it. And then the Dragon Blood Dragonette. And we'll just kind of skip ahead here. Like I said, I don't want to show through the entire book, but we'll get sort of an idea of some of the things that are in here. We got some elementals. I love the wisps. Right, they're just, I don't know, there's something about them there. And then the Festrog. These things are really cool. I ran the first chapter of the Claws of the Tyrant. Claws of the Tyrant. I think that's the adventure book for Pathfinder. And these things are pretty nasty in that. Level 1 creatures. Flies. Grave Knights. Ooh, do we have some other... So these are like your Death Knights. And again, it looks like you got a template that you can use to add on to something. So that might be interesting to do at some point, depending. The Green Man, creature level 24. The Grioths. The Gug. Some different types of hags. The Blood Hag. Winter Hag, Storm Hag. So I guess they're doing those by levels. Blood Hag, Hellcat. There's a hippopotamus. Some house spirits. Kind of Boston-like. Giant jellyfish. Kitsune. Mosasaurus. The Morlocks. I do like the Morlocks quite a bit as well. The Mycelioid. Nymphs. Carnivorous Blob. So these are oozes, right? But I think this looks like the cover from... I don't know if that's from the Slithering, one of their early adventures or not. Some possums. Planar Scions. And there's just some awesome stuff in here. Radiant Warden. Again, that feels like it would almost fit in with Starfinder. Raven Swarms. Oh, that's what these things are from the cover. Ooh, the Secadunaire. I don't know, but we're just going to go with it. Shades of Shoggoth. I got another Lovecraftian creature that I would love to implement into a campaign. Some beetles. Thousand Lives. These worm priests. Swarm. Okay, Swarm Striders. Takes me back to the... and we're going to reference it, so that takes me back to the Age of Worms. So somebody can put that in there. I think there's somebody who would always reference when I mention Age of Worms, like in the comments. The Tatzel Worm, that was actually in the Crown of the Kobold King adventure. So it's nice to have it here. Terror Birds. Hecatongares Titan. So in the 3rd edition Epic Level Handbook, they had one of these that basically was so ridiculously overpowered that it would slay any god one-on-one. Like, it was just absolutely brutal. So the 100-handed one. So luckily it doesn't make 100 attack rolls. That is horrifying. I love it. Totem Fawn. Oh, the Tripkeys. The little frog people. It's like jungle frog people. Some more trolls. Ice and Cavern. The Jotund. The two-headed troll. Actually, I really like that artwork. That's really cool. Troll Hound. I like the lore of like the trolls' regeneration as they get older becomes more and more out of control. Oh, that's the guy from the cover there. Okay. So... Zimsabidal. Oh my god. Due to their affinity for darkness and apocalyptic terror, they are widely feared as harbingers of death and destruction. A solar eclipse marks their arrival, and they draw strange powers of darkness and electricity from these phenomena. Interesting. So level 19... You can always give the elite adjustment to make it a level 20 creature as well. Nosferatu, so some vampires. Vampire, Nosferatu, Nosferatu Thrall, Overlord, Malefactor. That is something straight out of Starfinder. Vine Viper. Some water creatures. Witchword. The Wraith. Yeah, I actually really like that Wraith artwork there. And some zombies, including a zombie dragon. And your ability glossary. And some other things there. So weapon traits, creature, keywords, rituals that you can do, and then creatures by type, creatures by level. So yeah, like I said, I didn't flip through the entire book there. I know, like, Paizo put out a thing, and they're not the only company that's put this out, but they don't want the entire book flipped through from cover to cover, especially like where an AI can just grab screenshots and stitch together a PDF. I get it, especially if your company sells the PDFs for the books as well. I totally get that and understand that. But this is a really cool book, and again, monster books are always going to be good at the table. Compared to some of like the player's options books that have come out, I have to still do my review of Battle Cry because I've had the book, but there's been so much stuff that's kind of come up. But it's a very cool concept, but it's so dependent on the players wanting to play those exact types of support characters, or like dependent on like having like a war-based campaign, that I'm probably never really going to use that one. But a monster book is always going to be handy to have. So yeah, this is a really great addition to my collection, and one that I'm really looking forward to. So again, let me know if you picked up the Monster Core 2. What are your favorite monsters out of there? Have you been able to integrate any of them into your campaign currently? And if so, how's that gone for you? Thank you once again to Paizo for sending this my way. I do appreciate it, and I thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your day to watch this video. It really does mean a lot to me, and we will see you all in the next one. Until then, take care.